Emperor Caligula once declared war on Neptune, the god of the sea, and had his soldiers stab the ocean with spears. History's epic fails weren't just hilarious, they contain wisdom we're still ignoring today. In the 3rd century BCE, Emperor Qin Shi Huang had a brilliant idea to protect China from northern invaders: build the largest wall in history. The Great Wall of China stretched over 13,000 miles, cost countless lives, and took decades to build. It was the ancient world's ultimate flex, a monument to imperial might and engineering prowess. Just one tiny problem: invaders simply went around it. That's right, many sections remained unguarded, and nomadic tribes weren't exactly stopped by this architectural marvel. This ancient over-engineering has modern echoes. Think of companies investing millions in elaborate cybersecurity systems while employees use password 123. Or businesses building gleaming headquarters with fancy lobbies while ignoring basic operational flaws. We're still building impressive-looking walls while leaving the side doors wide open. The lesson? Sometimes the most spectacular solutions create a dangerous illusion of security. Emperor Qin's wall gave China a false sense of invulnerability, while missing practical realities of defense. Grand solutions often blind us to simpler, more effective approaches. In business, technology, and life, beware of building great walls that impress but don't actually solve the problem at hand. Picture this: 19th century Britain, a superpower with a peculiar Achilles heel: tea. By the 1830s, the British were importing over 30 million pounds of Chinese tea annually. The problem? China wanted silver, but Britain was running out of it. Their solution was both brilliant and horrifying: flood China with opium grown in British-controlled India. Chinese officials protested as addiction ravaged their population. When they seized British opium shipments in 1839, Britain responded not with diplomacy but gunboats. The Opium Wars had begun. The irony is staggering. The sophisticated, civilized British Empire essentially became history's most successful drug cartel, all to maintain their daily cuppa. They even forced China to legalize opium and cede Hong Kong in the aftermath. This historical epic fail teaches us a crucial lesson about hidden dependencies. When we become overly reliant on something, whether it's a commodity, technology, or relationship, we can make catastrophically bad decisions to maintain access. Today, we have modern parallels: rare earth minerals for electronics, fossil fuel dependencies, and even social media algorithms that shape our behaviors. The tea-obsessed British didn't see their vulnerability until it drove them to destructive choices. What dependencies might be shaping our decisions today? Imagine being so powerful that no one dares to question your decisions. That's exactly where we find Roman Emperor Caligula in 39 CE. In perhaps history's most audacious power move, Caligula allegedly appointed his favorite horse Incitatus as a Roman senator. Yes, you heard that right, a horse in government. Historians debate whether this actually happened or was just propaganda spread after Caligula's death. But the symbolism is unmistakable. By elevating his horse to senatorial status, Caligula wasn't honoring his peth, was deliberately mocking Rome's political elite. My horse could do your job. It was the ancient equivalent of a royal troll, showing just how disconnected absolute power had made him. This epic fail contains a lesson that transcends time. Power without accountability inevitably leads to absurdity. Today, we see similar patterns when leaders surround themselves exclusively with yes people. The resulting echo chamber produces increasingly disconnected decisions, whether in politics, business, or even social groups. The next time you're in a position of influence, remember Incitatus, because even the noblest leadership can become a joke when no one dares to say nee to bad ideas. In 1932, Australia faced an unusual enemy: emus. Yes, those flightless birds were destroying crops in Western Australia, prompting farmers to call for military assistance. What followed was perhaps history's most embarrassing military campaign. Armed with Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition, soldiers confidently marched to battle against birds. The plan seemed foolproof. After all, How could flightless birds defeat trained soldiers with automatic weapons? But the emus proved surprisingly resilient and tactical. They scattered into small groups, made themselves difficult targets, and seemed to shrug off bullets that did hit them. After a week, only about 200 of the estimated 20,000 emus had been eliminated. This Great Emu War teaches us a powerful lesson about underestimating opponents simply because they seem primitive or insignificant. In business, we've seen this pattern repeatedly. Remember Blockbuster laughing off Netflix as a niche mail order service? Or taxi companies dismissing Uber as a silly app? Time and again, established players have been blindsided by disruptors that initially seemed non-threatening. The next time you're tempted to dismiss a competitor as insignificant, remember Australia's emus. Sometimes, the most unlikely opponents are the ones who change the game entirely. What do Emperor Qin's Great Wall, Britain's tea obsession, Caligula's equine senator, and Australia's emu war have in common? They're not just amusing historical footnotes. They reveal a pattern we still fall into today. These epic fails share three critical threads: leaders with unchecked power making decisions in echo chambers, grand visions that ignored practical realities, and powerful forces underestimating seemingly weaker, but far more adaptable opponents. The pattern is clear across centuries and cultures. At the heart of these blunders lies hubris, that dangerous overconfidence that whispers we know best. Emperor Qin believed his wall was impenetrable. Britain thought their empires might justify any means. Caligula assumed unlimited power meant unlimited wisdom. And Australia's military never questioned whether guns were the right solution for birds. Each ignored warning signs that seemed trivial until disaster struck. So, how do we avoid these historic traps? First, cultivate diverse perspectives. The more varied your feedback, the more likely you'll spot the flaw in your grand plan. Second, question impressive-looking solutions. The most elaborate answers aren't always the most effective. And finally, respect adaptability. Sometimes the seemingly weaker force prevails through flexibility that rigid power structures cannot match. History's failures weren't inevitable. They were human errors we can learn to avoid. Even history's greatest minds stumbled. Their missteps remind us that wisdom isn't about perfection, it's about learning, adapting, and growing from our failures. What ancient wisdom has helped you overcome modern challenges? Share your story in the comments below. Subscribe to Rock Vein for more historical insights that will transform your perspective and inspire your journey.